Pistons. Again, this is the 1987 Eastern Conference Finals. It is 87-86. Pistons with the lead. Fourth quarter, Boston Garden.
Boston 0 for their last 12.
And
that's
you know
incredible.
What? Detroit has only been able to get a one-point lead out of this.
Look at the football movement. And
I tell you what, Rodman showed me something. His last ball game was when he wanted to forget in here. He's hit some big buckets, and right now he is chasing Larry Bird all over the floor, really forcing him to work.
you see the 0 for 7 for Boston. The 0 for 12 goes back to 5 shots in the third quarter. Bird fades away and hits one from about 15. Detroit still leading by 1. At the Garden, Detroit hasn't won here in 5 years. This series is tied at 2. Doug and I were talking at the timeout how intense this game is. Vinnie Johnson on a great drive, and Parris goes down with his ankle.
Man, I tell you, Boston is really beat up right now. They're going to have to take a 20-second timeout. Vinnie Johnson turned the corner on the screen roll. Parris went up to try to block it, and right now he is in a lot of pain.
Can put no pressure on that left ankle.
Man, oh man.
Ray Melchiori out there helping him off the floor.
Let's take a look at it right here. Robert Parrish coming over. He's trying to give up. Watch his left ankle. Oh, he steps on John Salley's foot. I tell you, what a bad break. You know, it's amazing, Bob, when you have something that bothers you, it seems like every time you turn around, you bang it. You know, you have a sore thumb. It seems like every time you want to open a car door or something, you hit it. But
Ray Melchiori will be working on that left ankle of Robert Parrish. Let's see what
Robert Parrish, I guarantee you, is going to lace that sneaker up as tight as he can lace it up. And if he has to drag himself through the last 7:19, he'll be out here. He's a vicious competitor who's never gotten enough credit for being the player that he is in this league.
7:19 to go in this ball game. Detroit 91, Boston 88. Can the Pistons hang on at Boston Garden? They've got a great opportunity with McHale in foul trouble, Parrish injured and out of the game. Ainge penetrating, feeding to Dennis Johnson. Shot clock to 6. Johnson in the paint, blocked by Salley. He's called for a travel first. Detroit ball.
How about Detroit right now? They've got 2 rookies on the floor, Salley and Rodman. Punch time in Boston Garden. 16
Boston turnovers, Doug. Laimbeer gets it to Isaiah Thomas. That one could have been a big nail. Ainge.
Air ball.
John Salley with a nice feed to Dennis Rodman, the 2-hand jam, and all of a sudden it is a 5-point Detroit lead, their biggest of the ball game, and Casey Jones just looked forlornly at his bench as though I need to make a change here, but I have nobody to use.
You know, McHale has not taken a shot since he's come in.
He's fouled by Isaiah Thomas.
Kevin McHale spent all that time on the bench. He's the freshest guy Boston has on the floor, and they have not looked to get the ball inside to him.
Look at this. Robert Parrish, who went out and couldn't walk, is back just as you predicted.
He can bet.
He'll be playing in pain. Fred Roberts sits down. It's a 5-point Detroit lead, 6:21 remaining. Trying to go to McHale, they do.
That's who they got to go to right there. They're really doubling well down on him.
Ainge. Look at Dennis Johnson. He kept that alive. Bird's open. McHale with a pass. And the foul. Let's check carefully to see who this foul is on.
Kevin McHale spotting Larry Bird underneath. Right here, Rodman makes a rookie mistake. When he hears the whistle, he should have grabbed him. He let him finish the shot, and when you hear that whistle, Bob, you got to grab him. You can't let him get 3.
Now Rodman with 5.
Let him get 2, but don't let him get 3.
Bird has 3'd him to death here. That was another 3-point. That's 4 3-point conversions for Larry Bird at the free throw line. And now Detroit leads by 2 with 6 minutes remaining. Detroit has 3 players with 5 fouls.
Oh, wow.
Goaltending on Robert Parrish. It's a 4-point Detroit lead.
See if Boston tries to come down and get the ball to McHale.
Boston has all 5 starters in there. 2 rookies on the floor for Detroit, along with their super sub, Vinnie Johnson. was tipped out of bounds by Detroit. It will belong to Boston.
We've got to give Detroit a lot of credit. Right now, they have a very active team on the floor. They have 2 shot blockers, Rodman and Salley.
Bird for 3. No, only 2. He was stepped on the line.
Well, Rodman took a nap that time. You can't get off Larry Bird.
More significantly, Larry Bird finally hits from long range. Detroit by 1. 5:20 to go in the game. Thomas blocked by Bird. Ainge tried to feed to Bird. Good defensive play by Detroit. Salley doesn't get the roll. It's going to be a Detroit Boston foul, loose ball. That's on Ainge. He has 3 now. Make that 3 Detroit players with 5 fouls. Mahon, Rodman, and Salley. 2 Boston players, McHale and Daye, have 5.
You know, Boston's got a run left in them. Detroit's going to have to execute here. You can bet that Boston's going to suck it up and make a run, especially on the defensive end. Question is, do they have enough strength to get it done or not? Got a man over the corner, wide open, Isaiah Thomas.
He's got to shoot it over Robert Parris. Illegal defense called against Boston. Jess Kersey made the call. It'll be a technical, and the free throw will be shot by Isaiah Thomas. Ainge upset. We were talking about the bench. Right now, the 2 rookies and super sub Vinnie Johnson in there for Detroit. Detroit's bench has outscored Boston's 35-6 in this game.
Well, I want to tell you what, there's nothing substitute for fresh legs. And especially when fresh legs are young rookies that are playing with enthusiasm and they're playing well. And right now, you got to give a lot of credit to the Rodman and Salley on the defensive end with their shot blocking right now. Has changed a lot of this ball game around.
Timeout on the floor with 4 minutes 41 seconds remaining in this game. Detroit leading it by 2. Don't go anywhere.
You're watching the Pistons battle the Celtics on Classic Sports Network.
You can't back out now. We've been planning this for so long. Beat me. Promise?
Girl, to be with you is my
It's classic style and a 200 horsepower VTEC.
Ever since I can remember, Jake did things his own way.
Nobody believed him when he said he was going to surf the mountain.
Snowboarding will never be as popular as skiing.
Yeah.
Why do I use a car? I spent my whole life doing things my own way. American Express never questioned it.
We asked some of Hollywood's hottest stuntmen to try Degree.
What's body heat activate?
As your body heat rises, Degree releases extra protection when you need it most.
I heated up, and it cooled me down.
I was on fire and I was dry.
Body heat activated Degree. Your body heat turns it on.
In a Chevy truck, you can go up to 100,000 miles before the first scheduled tune-up. Great news, especially when you live 100,000 miles from nowhere.
Detroit into the penalty with that call. That means Boston will be shooting free throws the rest of the way. The Celtics with only 2, and there's the substitution you're talking about.
Well, you got to think now you've got to go with some offense, too. He's going to go with Rodman. That'll put Adrian Dantley matched up on Larry Bird. So let's just look to see if the Boston Celtics try to go in the post and try to get to the free throw line with Bird against Dantley. Detroit can go to the basket with it, but Boston can be aggressive because they've got 2 fouls to waste.
Bird hasn't missed from the line, has 33 points to match his number, and now he has 34. It is tied at 95 with 4.5 minutes to go.
Joe Dumars in the ball game in the backcourt with Vinnie Johnson, so they're giving Isaiah Thomas a rest. They've got Salley. Let's see if they go to Adrian Dantley.
Salley to Laimbeer. He couldn't control it. Boston can take the lead again. Bird finds Johnson. He penetrates over Laimbeer off the glass. Parris is there to put it and miss it. Laimbeer to Johnson. Johnson. Detroit running, and Parris is down again. Salley with the tip in.
Robert Parris cannot get up. The game is still going on. So, you know, Robert Parris, I hate to say this, in the 3-second lane right now. They can call you for that being in the lane.
And now they get the timeout. Ray Melchiori comes back out. 3:41 to go in the game. Detroit leading by 2. And that man is playing on nothing but heart. He went out with an ankle injury that would keep most people out of the game. Came back in, and now he's twisted it again. If he can come back in here again, he might want to get his own TV show. Heel ankles.
I tell you, Robert Parris is a warrior. Let's watch what happens. He gets the rebound. Watch it now. He's going to go up. And again, he comes down on somebody's ankle. He came down on Larry Bird's ankle that time. And this guy's snake bitten. You know how many times that happens during the course of the season when you'll come down on somebody's foot? He's done it 3 times tonight.
Future NBA greats Artis Gilmore and Moses Malone in an NBA Dunk Fest. It's a rare and exclusive tip-off called by a young broadcaster, Bob Costas.
To the line, to the lane, to the hoop, put it up, put it in.
The Spirits Battle the Colonel, Saturday at 6, only on Classic Sports Network.
American Express Small Business Services. How can I help you?
How can I help you?
Right. We only work with small businesses.
Why don't we start with your cash flow?
And our equipment financing plan will help spread out the payments.
That'll definitely give you more flexibility.
How about setting up a line of credit?
We can do that.
Then I'll put you in touch with one of our CPAs so you can start getting ready for tax time.
We can always make adjustments when your situation changes.
Call 1-800-SUCCESS to find out how American Express Small Business Services can help you do more.
Cold enough for you? Yeah. Quick race around the block? You and me, around the block.
I don't think so.
Look, they say the Subaru is better in the snow than your BMW, and I say we find out.
In tests, an all-wheel drive Subaru outhandled the BMW 328i with traction control. That's why we put all-wheel drive on every car we make.
Am I sensing a little reluctance?
Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
If swing is your thing, then step into the ring every Friday night as Classic Sports headlines the greatest bouts of all time. From cool cats and hard-hitting hipsters to the hottest licks and rivalries the sweet science has ever known. It's boxing's most happening championship bouts. Plus, get the inside beat with the word on the street from hard-nosed scribes who don't pull any punches. It's Mills Lane night on Friday night at the Fights, Friday at 8. Only on Classic Sports Network.
You're watching the Pistons battle the Celtics on Classic Sports Network.
Robert Parris is finished for this day. What an effort he gave. Parris had 11 points, 8 rebounds, some significant block shots in the game. And now Detroit likes to penetrate. Parris keeps him from doing that, along with McHale. McHale's got 5 fouls. Parris is out of there.
Well, you look at the lineup that Detroit has on the floor right now. They have a quick, aggressive team. I still think you're going to see Bird in the post against Dantley, maybe trying to draw a foul. Also, Kevin McHale has not touched the ball in the low post. He has not attempted a shot since he's been back in the ball game.
Exactly. When he went out with 5 fouls, McHale had 18. He still has 18. Bird with 34 points and 12 rebounds and 7 assists. Boston looking to tie on this possession. Bird over Salley. Salley got a piece of it. Out of bounds. Jess Kersey couldn't see it, and Jack Madden gave it to Detroit. And Dennis Johnson is berserk.
I'm surprised he didn't get a technical. He really came at Jack Madden. Oh, man, this is a wild game.
Detroit by 2, 3:18 to go.
On isolation, Dantley against Darren Daye.
Gets help from Ainge. Wild pass. Shot clock to 6. Johnson over McHale. Oh, my! Vinnie Johnson over the 6'11" Kevin McHale. Boston trailing now by 4. McHale finds Daye open. Gets the layup and the foul. A chance to pull to within 1 for the Celtics. The Celtics know that if they cannot win here, they have to go back to Detroit on Thursday.
Well, Kevin McHale got the double team, and nobody picked up Darren Daye. John Salley turned his back, and he was playing Bird. He's the weak side man. He's got to pick up the cutter. He's the only man that can see him coming. And that's John Salley has fouled out of the game. They're now coming back to Rick Mahon,
who's got 5 fouls. But Salley played very well defensively, except on that example.
He sure did. But when you're on the box that time, you've got to be able to rotate over and pick up the man cutting to the basket. We're on that odd point right now. And Vinnie Johnson, let's see if he looks to continue to take the outside shot.
It's tough to stay in my seat. What a ball game. Detroit by 1. They get the switch now in the double team. Laimbeer has it batted away by Daye. What a defensive play for Daye. And a foul in the backcourt. Loose ball foul. It's on Laimbeer, and he gets 4. And Boston's in the penalty all the way. The Celtics have committed only 2 team fouls in this quarter.
Darren Daye is fresh. He has fresh legs, and you can see the difference. He's got a 3-point play. He rotated up nicely on the last play. Bill Laimbeer made a sluggish pass. He just put the ball up for grabs. Darren Daye got a piece of it, knocked it loose.
Daye with a big free throw, and he goes to the line again. It's tied at 99. You know, see the marks of war on Bill Laimbeer.
Darren Daye was the hero in Milwaukee in Game 4.
Boston has the lead, 2:39 remaining. The rafters are talking at Boston Garden. Wonder if Detroit's listening. Shot clock to 9. Vinnie Johnson over Darren Daye. Comes up short. Foul. It's going to be called on Daye, and that will be 6 on Darren Daye, if in fact that's Daye. Let's just make double sure that it is Darren Daye. Daye has just fouled out of the game. Parris is in the locker room injured. Darren Daye has to sit down. And now a big substitution call for K.C. Jones.
He's going to go with 3 guards. He's going to, well, looks like he was going to go with Sichting to go with 3 guards. That means that Dennis Johnson, with his size, will probably play Adrian Dantley at the forward position.
Giving up only an inch, but it's a tough way to play a great post-up player with the lower body strength of Dantley.
Let's look at the matchups now, which are going to be ever so important. You'll probably have Danny Ainge playing Vinnie Johnson, Jerry Sichting against Dumars, and Dennis Johnson against Adrian Dantley. Interestingly enough, right now, Chuck Daly has decided to take Isaiah Thomas out of the ballgame as Isaiah's been on the bench like the last 2 minutes.
It's tied at 100. Detroit leads it by 1. 2:21 to go. The official word on Robert Parrish from trainer Ray Melchiori: will not return because of the sprained ankle. We certainly knew that when we saw him leave. 101-100. Detroit, McHale. They force him out high. Shot clock to 9. In the post, he's fouled. He'll go to the line. And it's Bill Laimbeer's 5th foul. Boston with 3 team fouls, remember, and that, of course, was a shooting foul, but any other foul on the part of Detroit sends Boston to the line. Celtics down by 1.
He's going to back in now with Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah will come in for Dumars.
We're going to have a whale of 2 minutes here. Whoa.
You know, the interesting thing now of this ball game, Detroit has their best offensive team on the floor. They've got Isaiah, Vinnie, Dantley, Laimbeer, and Mahon. They've got their best offense, but it's not their best defensive team. And that could cause them problems as they come down the stretch right now.
McHale and Bird in the low post particularly.
Absolutely. You've got Adrian Dantley now, who's got to be matched up against the Dennis Johnson out on the floor, and you've got Bird matched up against a Mahon.
And Sichting trying to play Isaiah Thomas, who's trying to clear everybody away. Sichting's all over him, and they call Sichting for a foul. That's only the 4th. Detroit still will not go to the line.
I think they've called it on Dennis Johnson in the post. They've tried to get an isolation with Dantley. DJ has him locked up, and they've called the foul. From here on in now, it'll be free throws for both teams, and Boston leading by 1.
Sichting all over Isaiah Thomas, too. Here he is again. Isaiah gets it to Dantley. There's the double team. Dantley gets to Laimbeer. Bird gets out on him. Bothered the shot. Doesn't fall. Rebound Vinnie Johnson. Rebound Dennis Johnson. Boston by 1 with a minute and a half to go. Oh, Detroit had the chance, couldn't get it to fall. Timeout, Boston.
You're watching the Pistons battle the Celtics on Classic Sports Network.
Cold enough for you? Yeah. Quick race around the block? You and me, around the block.
I don't think so.
Look, they say the Subaru is better in the snow than your BMW, and I say we find out.
In tests, an all-wheel drive Subaru outhandled the BMW 328i with traction control. That's why we put all-wheel drive on every car we make.
Am I sensing a little reluctance?
Subaru, the beauty of all-wheel drive.
You think it's important what you wear?
Yeah, you know, that's your style. The way you look is unique. The way you want to look, it's all in the gear.
It's comfortable. Look at this. This is street gear right here. This is how we play on my block. Represent the ladies.
Well, as you all know, that ladies also play basketball.
You got a dribble. You got to have the crossovers, the shot, the rebound, even the dunk. You got to use ability. You got to use your skills. You got to fly, man.
NBA Authentic Gear, redesigned by Nike, Starter, and Champion.
The dream, man. You got to follow the dream.
Classic Sports Network presents This Day in Classic Sports, March 19th, 1969. The luck of the Bucks after this.
What if you could collect life's greatest moments? If you could just hang on to them and not let any slip away? And what if every time you remembered them, they were just as vivid, just as great? On Classic Sports Network, memories don't pass you by, nor are they carted off and filed away. They're front and center, and even sideways. Classic Sports Network, the only network where once-in-a-lifetime moments happen 24 hours a day.
March 19th, 1969. Thanks to a coin toss, the expansion Milwaukee Bucks land 7-foot wonder Lou Alcindor, the nation's most sought-after college player. Incredibly, in just 2 years, he will turn the Bucks into NBA champions. Tune in every day for This Day in Classic Sports.
Classic Sports is thawing out some of the greatest playoff games that have been frozen in time to get you up to speed on your hockey history. We've got Gretzky, Gilbert, Dryden, Laimbeer, Coffee, and the Cup. We got guarantees, great goalies, and a guy named Guy. From sudden death to instant glory, Classic Sports has the original broadcast of these classic games. So go back to high school. Watch Frozen in Time, Monday at 8 Eastern, only on Classic Sports Network.
It begins with a dream and ends with a prayer. It colors the spectrum of human emotion, from the blues of dark despair to the greens of joyous victory. It is the Masters. Every Monday, Classic Sports drives you to Augusta for a glimpse of perfection. More than 60 years of golfing's most historic moments from its most prestigious event. It's the Masters on Monday at 7 p.m. only on Classic Sports Network.
2.1 seconds left. Will the dream die here for Duke? There's the pass to Laimbeer. Puts it up.
There's the story. 1:26 to go in the game. Boston leading by 1. Detroit has Mahon, Laimbeer, Thomas, and Rodman with 5. Salley's already fouled out. Daye has fouled out for Boston, and McHale has 5. Nobody else with more than 3 for the Boston Celtics.
During the timeout, they took out Jerry Sichting, brought in Fred Roberts, a bigger player, to match Rodman. Watch Bird throwing the ball in out of bounds. He is dangerous. Keep your eye on him because he'll throw the ball in and they'll look to try to rub him off the screen.
They just did. Mahon playing Bird now. There's Bird off the screen from the corner. Big basket by Larry Bird. That's a 2-pointer. Detroit by 3 with 1:13, and Bird has 36. And after the shooting slump, Doug Collins, Larry Bird, with the confidence born of the star he is, hits the long-distance jumper.
Let me tell you something about great shooters and great scorers. They are never in slumps. They're going to keep shooting it, and Larry Bird, he's going to come across, he's going to set a screen, and then he fades back to the corner. Mahon with a hand in his face, nothing but the bottom of the net. Still 1:13 to go, 3-point lead for Boston now. Remember I said a while ago that Detroit had their best offensive team on the floor, but not their best defensive team. And what happens you get a run going, and then you have to substitute because of fouls, and you get out of sync. And Boston is showing terrific courage tonight.
So Boston has 1 timeout remaining. Detroit has 2 timeouts remaining in this game. Red Auerbach, who's seen it so many times before. You know, it's been nearly 20 years since Red coached. But I think in his mind, he coaches every one of the games. And for Detroit, as you look at that, it has to be said, and I think it was said best by Chuck Daly. He says, I'm not saying that we're coming in here lightly because we're very intense. But he says, I feel the pressure's off. We've had a heck of a year. We got our 2 in Detroit, and now we just feel let's let it happen.
But you know what, though, Bob, with all the Celtic injuries, I'm not so sure that most people don't feel that Detroit should come back and win this series. I think it's an easy thing for a coach to say to take the pressure off his team, but I think that Chuck Daly feels some pressure to win this series with Boston being beat up, and especially now with Parris, you know, going down.
Well, it's going to cause questions for Thursday night. 2 significant questions here quickly. One is that Casey Jones' mother passed away, and he will not coach, we understand from Boston, the Thursday night game, leaving it to Jimmy Rogers and Chris Ford. And how will the Robert Parrish ankle be? But for now, we've got 1:13. Boston leads by 3.
I think if Boston wins this ball game, I bet you Parrish doesn't even go on the trip. They'll rest him like they did Game 6 against Milwaukee. If there is a Game 7, they're hoping he'll come back and be ready.
Big possession for Detroit. Laimbeer way out high. Sichting all over Isaiah Thomas, and he's called for the foul. It'll be a shooting foul. In a way, from a Boston point of view, maybe not that bad a foul, in a sense that the free throw opportunities are made and Boston gets their hand on the ball with 1:08 to go.
Well, what that does, though, it gives Chuck Daly a chance to substitute, and he can start making defensive substitutions now. The clock stopped. He can bring Rodman in the game. He can bring Dumars in the game, so he can get his better defenders in the game and take out his offensive players.
Isaiah Thomas makes it a 2-point game. He can pull the Pistons to within 1. And here come Rodman and Dumars.
You can bet that when Boston comes down, in some way Larry Bird's going to be part of the play. Either as a passer or setting a screen and rolling back to the ball or trying to get to the free throw line.
1:01, exactly a minute remaining. Boston by 1. Here's Bird against Mahon. Ainge from the top of the key. Big bucket by Ainge. It rattled home. Laimbeer answers for Detroit. Time remaining at the lower right, 45 seconds. Every possession very important.
Well, I tell you, Mahon ran up there and almost fouled Bird. You don't want to foul Bird. He's a 90% free throw shooter. You want to make Boston right now beat you from the field. You don't want to put him on the free throw line.
10 on the shot clock. 9, 8, Bird down low. Misses. Mahon rebounds and calls timeout with 27 seconds to go in this game. It'll probably not be an overtime situation because it is a 1-point game, and Bird missing a critical close-in shot. Mahon with the rebound. One timeout remaining for each team. 27 seconds remaining in this game. Larry Bird, who tonight has had a whale of a game with 36 points, 7 assists, 12 rebounds, just missed a critical one. And Rick Mahon, who's been very quiet with only 4 points and 5 rebounds, perhaps got the most important rebound of this series at this point in time, certainly, when he got the miss.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Detroit comes out of this timeout with. In a lot of critical situations during the course of the season, they like to run Isaiah Thomas and Bill Laimbeer on that sideline screen and roll play. Maybe let Laimbeer slip the screen quickly to try to roll out. If the defensive man goes with him, Isaiah likes to look to turn the corner and take the ball to the hoop. What Detroit doesn't want to do is just fire a standstill outside jump shot. They want to get something going to the basket.
And we might say here, I want to point something out, 27 seconds as you look at this rebound, 27 seconds to go in the game, and 23 seconds on the shot clock for Detroit. 1 ticked off, a 4-second disparity in the shot clock. So Boston will get another opportunity, even if it's only 4 seconds.
Now, will Chuck Daly take this ball on the sideline where he has only a little bit of room to get the ball in, or will he take it full court?
What would you do?
With this kind of time on the clock, I would take it full court because you've got 24 seconds to take the shot. You don't realize how difficult it is to get that ball in from the side sometimes. You cannot throw in the backcourt in professional basketball. You've got 47 feet to get the ball in. Sometimes you have a difficult time getting it in. I'd take it full court, but we'll see what Chuck Daly decides to do.
Casey Jones coaching through the sadness of the death of his mother yesterday. Chuck Daly, he wants to continue building the winning ways in Detroit. Says he knows everybody wants to beat Boston and LA. He says he wants to get this franchise to where everybody wants to beat the Pistons. And right now, Boston is first in line in that desire. They lead by 1. 27 seconds to go. It's Detroit's ball.
See, Dantley cannot throw the ball into the backcourt, so he's going to make sure he gets the ball inbounds.
He does make the pass along the sideline.
They got Isaiah Thomas out on the top of the floor against Sichting.
16 seconds. Sichting right in his face. Thomas with a very big bucket, and Boston uses their last timeout.
Putting the ball on a play. He gets it out deep, and Havlicek steals it.
Hi, I'm John Havlicek. You're watching Classic Sports Network.
Evan McHale with 20 points in this game. Only 2 points in the fourth quarter, though. He's been ridden with 5 fouls. Bird will inbound, 17 seconds remaining. Mahon talking to Bird right now. He's right in front of here talking to Bird. Into Dennis Johnson.
They're going to run a flare for Bird coming off the McHale screen.
There's Bird with the ball against Mahon.
He'll take it to the hoop. You can bet. He's going to try to draw a foul.
It's blocked. And Sichting hit it off of a Detroit player. No, it is. Here's a disparity in the call. They're going to give the ball to Detroit. Bird steals it. Johnson, layup, Boston, 1 second left. Detroit timeout. 1 second left. Bird steals it and gets it to Johnson at the buzzer. 1 second remaining.
Oh my! What a mistake by Detroit. They should have called timeout and took the ball at half court. They threw a floating pass into Laimbeer. Bird steals it. Oh, what a mistake. Veteran players cannot make that kind of mistake.
Look at Walton. He thinks it's a missed shot. He thinks the game is over. Sichting had tried to throw the ball off of a Detroit body to get the Boston call. He did not get that. It was Detroit ball. And then, as Doug told you, the mistake on the inbounds play. And with Bird anywhere near you, you can't do it.
You've got to call timeout at worst and regroup. Chuck Daly was signaling for a timeout. They threw a floating pass inbounds. Oh my, what a cardinal mistake. Now 1 second.
108-107 Boston. Game 5 Eastern Conference Championship Series.
I'm not believing that. Oh man.
Well, the Detroit Pistons have really battled the Celtics, and they deserve a lot of credit. However, remember that Boston had McHale in foul trouble much of the second half. Then Robert Parris re-sprained his ankle, had to leave the floor. Darren Daye fouled out, and here it is again.
Well, let's watch this. First of all, it's a floating pass. Laimbeer does not meet it. Bird picks it off, and then a driving shot by DJ. Man, oh man.
It'll be inbounded at half court by Adrian Dantley. Let's check the matchups. Mahorn's guarded by Roberts. Isaiah Thomas by Ainge. Bird is on Laimbeer. McHale waving those long arms. Laimbeer out of bounds. Boston will win this game. The buzzer sounds just as the ball goes out of bounds. There was less than a second remaining on the tick of the clock. And Detroit's valiant effort comes up a point short on a critical inbounds mistake. Boston's Larry Bird picked off the pass, got it to Dennis Johnson. He hit the clutch layup, and Boston wins it 108-107 to take a 3-2 lead in the Eastern Conference Championship Series.
Clyde, I think as I look back at this game that It's ghosts, it's leprechauns, it's everything that was always said about Boston Garden right there in that one play, just as we said when we first came on, as it was for John Havlicek in a different era.
Yeah, they came back to haunt the Pistons. But again, Isaiah would have never made that pass. I mean, you should never throw the ball underneath your hoop. Throw it down to the other end with the amount of time that was left on the clock.
Yeah, some of the quotes post-game, Laimbeer, it didn't cross my mind to call time, but in hindsight, we should have. Bird, it happened so quick, I didn't have time to think about it. Isaiah didn't throw a good hard pass. It seemed to stay there forever. And Isaiah Thomas, finally, we had it won and we gave it back. We had it right in our hands, right there. I didn't see Larry, not until he had the ball. Now, what do you think? The Celtics go on and win this series in 7 games, so clearly it wasn't over.
But that was a pivotal play. They never got over that.
That's it. You don't get over a game like that, do you? I mean, this is something you carry with you for the rest of the series.
Precisely. You go for 47, almost 48 minutes, you have a game, and then you end up losing it that way. It's devastating.
Now, the Detroit Pistons would have a chance to exact some revenge getting the Boston Celtics, and really that was the series that signaled the end of their era. The next year, only to lose to the Lakers in the finals, and then after that, they put together their back-to-back championships. What do you think was most significant about this team, the Pistons team, the way they played that allowed them to win 2 titles?
Their defense, as you alluded to, they were boring, but they mastered the defense. See, defense, you can play good every game. Offense is very capricious. Some nights the ball is not going to go in. But defense, you can work. It's just a matter of having the pride and the work ethic to get it done.
As for the Celtics, one by one, they would have to watch their great heroes, McHale and Parris and Bird, say goodbye to Boston. And things certainly got a little difficult to take there in Boston Garden. And today,
it was easier for the opposition to come into the Garden.
Yes, it was. And now, of course, Boston Garden is history, and the golden microphone of Johnny Most hangs over the way they play at the Fleet Center. And you can almost still hear him say,
now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right at 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left. Oh my, this place is going crazy.
Thanks for joining us for Game 5 of the '87 Eastern Conference Finals.